Okay, so magandang araw sa inyong lahat. So this is again Noel Bergonia and we are about to discuss the chapter 3 of our accounting information system, which is entitled Ethics, Fraud, as well as Internal Control. Okay, so for our today's discussion, now here are the objectives. So we are about to discuss some broad issues pertaining to business ethics, now, some ethical issues related to the use of information technology, distinguish between management fraud and employees fraud. We have also the common types of fraud schemes, the key features of the Statement of Auditing Standards number 78 or the COSO Internal Control Framework, and also the objectives and application of physical control. Okay, so let's just start our chapter 3 discussion. So first on the line would be, we talk about business ethics. No? Pero bago tayo mag-proceed sa business ethics, let's define first what ethics is. No? At its simplest, ethics is a system of moral principles. It is concerned with what is good for individuals and society and is also described as a moral philosophy. So, why should we concerned about ethics in the business world? So, it's because of the fact that ethics are needed when conflicts arise wherein people needs to choose. And in businesses, as you all know, there might be some conflicts that would arise between employees, the management, or even with the stakeholders. And because of these conflicts, it would give rise to a litigation. Okay? So when we talk about business ethics in general, it involves finding the answers in these two questions. How do the managers decide on what is right or wrong in conducting the business? Or even once the manager, have recognized what is right, how do they achieve it? Okay? So those are some of the questions in terms of ethics, doing right or wrong in a business context. So business ethics has its 4 areas. Okay, we have equity. Okay, wherein it talks about executive salaries, the comparable worth of employee, as well as the product pricing. Okay, so we also have to take note about the rights of the employees. Are they undergoing the corporate due process, or even are they being protected in terms of sexual harassment, or even are they being protected in terms of whistleblowing? Okay, and also we talk about business ethics. So it's all about honesty. Honesty in terms of the employees and management doesn't have any conflict of interest. We don't have any misleading advertisements, as well as the reporting, specifically yung financial reporting natin, to the stakeholders are correct. And lastly, business ethics is also about the exercise of corporate power, the product safety, yung workplace natin, about environmental issues, as well as downsizing of plant closures. So these are the areas about business ethics. So let's talk about naman, another concern in business ethics is computer ethics. So pag pinag-usapan natin ng computer ethics is all about those particular analysis of the nature and societal impact of computer technology and the corresponding formulation of justification of policies and ethical use of such technology. So, what are the main computer ethics issues that we might encounter? Okay, number 1, it talks about privacy. Okay, so pag sinabi nating privacy, now people would want that they will have full control over what is happening to them, especially the information. So, it's really that particular information, that information of an employee or even kahit sino pa man in the business, is being protected. Okay, kasi hindi yan basta-basta pwedeng lalabas, 'di ba? There should be a privacy. The information is confidential. Example of which is salaries of an employee. 'Di ba? Isipin niyo na lang nakalagay sa inyong computer. Dinownload mo kasi tapos nalaman ng iba, ay ito pala salary. Okay, kakalat yan, ganito. It would not only compromise you as the employee but also pag nakalabas yan in the business, then it would create somehow commotion. Okay? Another would be all about security, no? Accurate ba at saka confidential ba? There is confidentiality among the information. So when we talk about computer security, it is an attempt to avoid such undesirable event of loss of confidentiality as well as the data integrity. So isang example na lang yung paglalagay natin ng password in terms of our computer. Diba? Okay? It has a societal impact. Yun nga, ma-access kasi. Now, ang ginagawa nga namin in terms of security for data loss before, once na nagtatrabaho kami sa private before, is all about, let's say, for example, yun, aside from putting a password, kapag uuwi kami, hindi namin pwede iuwi yung laptop namin, okay? And even once we use our laptop at home, meron kami tinatawag na virtual private network, so VPN, which will be discussed in the future, that could be monitored by the company. Okay, so they want to protect the information because, as you all know, in chapter 1, information is really an entity's resource. Diba? Okay, another would be ownership of property. So, diba, meron ng mga copyright concerns, o 'di ba? So make sure that everything that you use in the business is having a right use of copyright. Kasi kapag gumamit tayo ng other ownership without the consent of those parties, then there could be possibly litigation. Okay? Environmental issues. So companies are somehow, especially yung mga old pa, no, they are using still paperworks, no, the papers, printed reports, no, in terms of their files, no, on which we could transfer it to what we so-called paperless environment. So, in terms of printing, syempre pag nagpiprint sa papel, it would cause environmental issues. So, companies are now encouraged to have paperless schemes in their businesses. No? Also, another computer ethics issue is the artificial intelligence. So, the use of robotics, no, that would replace the job of people. Okay, so, syempre, mangangamba na yung mga employee. Am I going to be replaced by this robot to do it? But basically, try to think of it that there are limitations as well of robotics and even artificial intelligence that only person buhay na kagaya mo ang makakagawa. And because of this artificial intelligence and somehow automation, it would give rise as well to unemployment or displacement. Kasi some of the things na nakita ko in the private is that once na na-automate na yung isang process, then some people would be displaced or even some of them will not have the work anymore. And also the misuse of computer, okay, because the misusage of computer would give rise as well to some other issues na na-discuss natin kanina. Okay? So those are some of the computer ethics issue that we might encounter. And some of it we could not be able to avoid, but we need to put a control on hand. Kaya mamaya at sa dulong discussion natin or even throughout this discussion, we will talk about internal control. No? How could we resist this business issues as well as computer ethics issue? Okay? So far, any question? Our next topic is all about fraud. Okay? So when we talk about fraud, it is already a rampant terminology that is being used today. Okay? Not only today, but previously pa. Diba? But when we talk about fraud, it denotes a false representation of a material fact made by one party to another party with the intent to deceive and to induce the other party to justifiably rely on the facts to his or her deterrent. So according to some common law, no, a fraudulent act must meet the following 5 conditions. So one would be false representation. Okay, mali yung statement or even disclosure, financially or non-financially. Okay, there is a material facts. So a fact must be substantial factor in inducing someone to act. Okay, another, okay, requisites of fraud is that there is an intention to deceive other people. Not only deceive other people, but anybody. Okay? Anything could be deceived. Okay? Also, another requisite is that the misrepresentation must have resulted in justifiable reliance upon the information which caused someone to act. And lastly, no, the misrepresentation may have caused an injury or a loss. So that's all about fraud in the business environment, which have been more specialized, meaning it is intentional deception, misappropriation of companies' assets, or even manipulation of the financial data, okay, for the advantage of some perpetrators. Okay? So when we talk about fraud, we have this fraud triangle. Okay? So a fraud triangle consists of 3 factors that would contribute to or are associated with management and employees fraud. So number 1 would be all about the situational pressure, which includes personal or job-related stresses that could cause cohere an individual or an act of honesty. So ayan, may pressure, may opportunity. Okay? Another would be all about the opportunity, now which involves direct access to the asset or even access to the information that controls the asset. And lastly, we have the ethics, no, which pertains to the character of someone as well as the degree of moral opposition to act dishonesty. So this figure suggests that individuals with a high level of personal ethics, no, pag mataas yung level of ethics natin, okay, who is confronted with low pressure and limited opportunity to commit fraud is more likely to behave honest, no, than the one who is weaker, itong nasa baba, okay, who is weaker and is under high pressure at saka is exposed to great fraud opportunities. Okay? So, research by forensic experts and academics has shown that auditors' evaluation on fraud is enhanced when the fraud triangle factor is being considered. Okay? So, important na tandaan natin na pag mataas ang pressure at saka malaking opportunity, the more chances na yung ethics natin is, okay, liliit, no? Thus, we would entail na magkaroon tayo ng commitment on a particular fraud. Okay? Do we understand the fraud triangle? I know that you have a subject na governance, so doon madidiscuss nyo in detail itong mga bagay na to. Okay? So, any questions so far? Ayan. So, let's just talk about, no, some issues that and underlying problems that has a connection with fraud as well as business ethics, no. So these are some of the companies, no, Enron, WorldCom, and Adelphia, no, mga nagsarang company ito previously na nagkaroon ng problem, no, they have committed fraud. And ano ba yung nangyari? So they have a lack of auditors' independence. So auditing firms also engaged by their clients to perform non-accounting activities. So most likely dapat ang auditor is functioning for what? Checking the correctness, verifying the correctness of the financial statements. But if ever that there would be something that this auditing firms have been engaged with the client, then nagkakaroon tayo ng conflict of interest. Kaya nagkakaroon din tayo ng lack of auditors' independence. Another is that lack of directors' independence. So, nakita ang problem before is that directors who are also serving as a board of directors of other companies, no, they have business trading relationship, have financial relationship as stockholder, even they receive personal loans or have operating relationships as employees. So, hindi niya kayang mag-stand as a director of the company because it has another um, conflict of interest with the other company. Okay? Questionable executive compensation scheme. So, short-term stock options as compensation results in short-term strategies aim at driving up stock prices at the expense of the firm's long-term health, as well as some inappropriate accounting practices was being made. Okay? So, we're in, no? Let's say example, kay Enro, nagkaroon ng use of special purpose entities. Sa WorldCom naman, transfer transmission line cost from current expense account to capital account. So, they manipulate the financial statement per se. So, it happens actually in the US, in the other country. So, how do they do it? How do they address this particular underlying problems, no, so that it could not happen in the future? So, dito na lumabas yung tinatawag natin na Sarbanes-Oxley Act. Okay? Okay? So, itong US Congress have enacted this Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 in July 2002. So this landmark legislation, which was written to deal with problems related to capital markets, corporate governance, and auditing professions. So some of the rules of this Sarbanes-Oxley Act, they became effective almost immediately, and others were phased in over time. So the Act establishes a framework to modernize and reform the oversight and regulation of public companies auditing. No? Kasi di ba, one of the issue in terms of the Enron, the WorldCom, is that it's all about auditors' independence. Okay? So its principal reform pertain to number 1, okay, creation of the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. So it's in the US na. Also, in terms of auditors' independence, the Act addresses auditors' independence by creating more separation between a firm's attestation at saka non-auditing activities. Kasi kanina, di ba, the auditor would also act, the auditing firm would also act for other non-accounting activities of the company. Okay, in terms of corporate governance, so the Act requires all audit committee members, okay, to be independent, and requires the audit committee to hire and oversee external auditors. No? Also, when we talk about disclosure requirement as well as issue requirement, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act imposes new corporate disclosure requirements. And lastly, no, there would be about fraud and criminal penalties na pinataw para doon sa mga nagkakasala. Okay, so these were happening in the US before, so nagkaroon nito. Okay, so right now, kanina balikan lang natin yung fraud, no, kasi this Sarbanes-Oxley Act arises because of somehow fraud that would happen. Now, there are two types of fraud na nabanggit kanina. So we have employee fraud and we have also the management fraud. Ngayon, pag-usapan natin yung employee fraud. Okay? So, ano ba tong employee fraud na ito? Okay, of course, this employee fraud or a fraud of a non-management employee or personnel is generally designed to direct and convert cash and other assets for the personal gain of this particular employee by circumventing any company systems of internal control. Okay? So, ayun ha, it's a non-management personnel, a usual employee, no, that would take anything from the business for his or her personal gain. On the other hand, pag pinag-usapan natin ang management fraud, it is more insidious than employee fraud because it is often escapes detention until the organization suffered irreparable damage or loss. So it's usually done by, of course, the management people, now which perpetrated at the level of management above one to which internal control structure relates. No, frequently it involves using the financial statements to create any no illusion that the entity is more healthier and prosperous than it actually is. So which had happened doon sa issue kanina, 'di ba, na misrepresent yung information in the financial statements. So, anong nangyari dun sa Enron sa WorldCom, di ba, nagsara sila. Okay? So, it also involves misappropriation of assets. It is frequently shrouded in a maze of complex business transactions. So, medyo mas tiba-tiba itong particular na management fraud kasi mas malaki yung nakukuha nila compared with our employee fraud, or what have been done by the employees. Okay, so nakita niyo pagkakaiba ng dalawa, ha? So the employee fraud are committed by the non-management personnel, and the management fraud have been perpetrated by levels of management which is above those in a usual employee. Ngayon, how are they doing it, no? These employees at saka management. So let's talk about how they are doing it through what we so-called fraud schemes. So there are 3 categories of fraud schemes according to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. Okay, so we have fraudulent statements, corruptions, or even misappropriations of assets. So isa-isahin natin sila. So let's start with the fraudulent statements. So anong meron sa fraudulent statements? So in this case, no, the people in the business are misstating the financial statements to make the copy appear better than it is. So, it's either nilalakihan nila yung revenue, they manipulate it, okay, even the cash, the asset, binobloat nila, okay? So, naglulubog ng expenses, di ba? So, those are misrepresentation in the financial statement, which is usually occurring on the part of the management. Okay? Ano ba magagawa ng normal employee, di ba? Tignan mo, janitor, kaya ba niya manipulate yung financial statement? Hindi, no? It's usually the management who's doing it. Why? Because they may be tied up to focus on short-term financial measures for success. Akala nila, kapag nakita nilang ay maganda nga yung financial statement, then it would to go up to the end of time. But it's not, diba? Okay? It's also maybe they are doing it because it relates to a management bonus packages that is being tied to financial statement. So one of the possibility there is pag mas mataas yung income, mas mataas yung bonus na ma-receive ng ating mga managers. Diba? So they are misstating the financial statements. Okay? That's a no-no. Alam niyo yan, di ba? In accordance with our discussion of accounting standard, we should represent it, no? It should be reliable and the information should be faithfully represented. Okay? Another fraud scheme is all about corruption, which is rampant nowadays. Di ba? So, pag pinag-usapan natin itong corruption na to, it involves executive managers or even employees of organization, okay, in collusion with some other people inside or even outsiders. Okay? So, we have examples of this corruption. Okay? One would be bribery. So, pag sinabi natin bribery, it involves giving, offering, soliciting, or receiving things of value to influence an official in the performance of his or her lawful duties. Okay, di ba? Mga pasok-sok. Di ba? Under the table. Okay, binabribe. Okay, another example of corruption is illegal gratuities. So it involves giving, receiving naman, offering, soliciting something of value because of an official act that has been taken. So this is actually similar din sa bribe, but the transaction occurs after the fact. Unlike with the bribe, no, it happens before the act. Okay? Then another would be conflict of interest. So it occurs when employee acts on behalf of a third party during a discharge of his or her duties, no, and has a self-interest over the activity being performed. Okay, one example is yung bawa pamimili ng materials, no, yung pala kaibigan mo yung what? Kaibigan mo pala yung bibilhan ng entity. Okay? Then another would be economic extortion. So it is the use or a threat of force by individual or organization to obtain a value. The item of the value, no, could be financial or even economic asset, an information, or even cooperation to obtain favorable decision. So in the US, to address this, they have the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, no, of 1977, which indicative of corruption in the business world and impacted accounting by requiring accurate records and internal control. Sa Pilipinas, meron naman tayo mga anti-graft act, di ba? Mga also in terms of government employees, meron din supposed to be code of conduct kami of government employees na sinusunod. Okay? So, another, okay, fraud scheme is the misappropriation of asset, which is a most common type of fraud that could occur in the employee level. Okay, bakit? Kasi, on their level, they could be able to misappropriate the smallest asset. Hindi naman sinasabi na employee lang, but also the management. No? So, one example of this misappropriation of asset could be yung scheming, which is involving stealing of cash from the business. So, yun kasi cash, di ba? It's more vulnerable for any theft. Okay, so yun yung mabilis. So, that's scheming, no? Another would be cash larceny. So, it involves schemes kung saan yung cash receipts are stolen from the organization after they have been recorded in the organization's book. So, example nitong cash larceny na to is yung lapping na tinatawag. Okay? Another is yung check tampering. Okay? So, yung check tampering naman, it involves forging o kaya naman changing in some material way a check of the organization that has been written. Okay, pero mabilis ma-detect yun ng employee, ng company, di ba? Another is payroll fraud. So, ito yung possible yung mga ghost employees na binabayaran, di ba? Expense reimbursement scheme, so yung mga pwedeng pinapalaki nila expenses nila, nanghihingi ng resibo para malaki yung i-charge sa company, di ba? Okay? Type of cash, nabanggit ko na kanina. Okay? And also, non-cash misappropriation. Ayan, di ba? Nag-uuwi ng papel, ng ballpen. Simple lang yun, pero that's already an act of fraud. Okay? So, any questions about this three fraud schemes? So these three fraud schemes are rampant nowadays, either in the government, in the private sector. Okay, so you need not to have your own ethical standards so that you could be able to resist this, okay, fraud schemes. Okay, any questions so far? In order for us to avoid these fraud schemes, okay, we should have an internal control in place. So when we talk about an internal control system, it talks about the policies, the practices, as well as procedure employed by the organization, okay? In order for them to achieve the following. Number one, okay, kaya may internal control kasi it helps us to safeguard the asset, to avoid any asset misappropriation. Okay? To ensure accuracy and reliability of accounting records and information. Pag may internal control, we could be able to avoid yung ating financial misstatements. Okay? Another is to promote efficiency of the firm's operation as well as to measure compliance with management prescribed policies and procedures. So these were the four broad objectives of our internal control. Okay, are we clear on that? So inherent to these objectives are four modifying assumptions that would guide us in order for us to have these internal control objectives. Okay, number one is that it talks about the management responsibility. So, ano ba itong management responsibility na to? It is an establishment and maintenance of the system of internal control, which is actually the primary responsibility of the management. So it should be the management who is taking into care yung ating internal control system. Dapat sila yung manguna na mag-put in place nun. Otherwise, of course, they are great perpetuators which could give rise now in committing fraud. Okay? There should also be a reasonable assurance. The cost of achieving an objective of an internal control should not outweigh its benefit. And lastly, in modifying assumptions, we have the methods of data processing. So, internal control should achieve the four objectives regardless of the data processing method used. The control techniques used to achieve these objectives will vary depending upon the type of technology as well as depending upon the type of an entity. Okay, any questions so far? However, on the other hand, even though there is already an internal control in place that could safeguard the asset, avoid any error, misrepresentation, and misstatement, okay, there are some limitations of this internal controls. So one would be the possibility of honest errors. Okay, kasi there is no system that is perfect. The circumvention via collusion. So personnel may circumvent the system through collusions or other means. The management may override, which is the position of this management, okay, can override the control produced by personally distorting the transactions. So kapag gusto na talaga nilang i-penetrate at gumawa ng fraud, then kahit anong internal control pa yan, okay, so it cannot be avoided. But lastly, under limitation is the changing condition, especially in companies with high growth. Okay? So yan yung mga kailangan yung tandaan. Once you make an internal control, make sure that you take into account this limitation. Anong magagawa natin na internal control that even these limitations could be avoided. Okay? Now, what will happen if the entity was being exposed to a weak internal control? Kanina, we have fraud, diba? The commitment of fraud would give rise to some ethical issues in the business. And right now, not only ethical, monetary issues in the business. Now, sinabi na may internal control, okay? We could stop those fraud through the use of internal control. However, itong limitation, merong mga some certain factors na naglilimit para ma-fully implement itong internal control. And what will happen if naging weak? Okay, meron nga internal control pero weak yung internal control. What were the risks that the entity would have if that happens? Okay, so number one, it could destruct an asset. Okay, another would be theft of an asset. There would be a corruption and also disruption of information system. Okay, so as you can see here, so this is an image about the internal control shield. Okay, so there would be undesirable events that would penetrate the internal control. Okay, once na na-expose na tayo, then it could destroy our asset. Okay, so any questions so far? So kaya nga, in order for us to really have a good control, you need to take into account some preventive, detective, and corrective internal control model. So let's try to talk about itong preventive, detective at saka corrective internal control model na ito. Okay, so itong image na to is showing us, number 1, the preventive controls. So itong preventive controls na to are passive techniques designed to reduce the frequency of occurrence of an undesirable event. Okay, so bago pa mangyari yon, you should have made already an internal control over it. Okay, so one example would be, let's say, issue about your computer information, 'di ba? Na-access dun sa desktop or laptop mo. Okay, preventive control dun, dapat simple lang to, lagyan mo ng password. Another, para hindi manakaw yung laptop mo, lagyan mo ng laptop wire. Okay, meron nun, yung laptop lock. Okay, so that's an example of a preventive control. Now, next would be detective control. Okay? So when we talk about detective control, it is the second line in defense na kung saan this devices techniques and procedures which designs to identify and expose undesirable event that could elude preventive control. So di ba tinali mo na yung laptop, okay, nilagyan mo na ng password. Ano yung possible na detective control natin doon? Okay, one would be the use of CCTV camera, di ba? Oh, nawala yung laptop mo. Okay? Hindi gumana yung tali. Di ba? Yung cable lock or laptop lock. Even yung lock on the computer screen, hindi gumana, na-access. Okay? You could see that, no, through CCTV, o kaya naman sa pag-enter ng password, na iba yung nag-enter ng password, we could identify that kasi there are some laptops in the private na nagamit ko na kung saan kapag nag-on na siya, nag-main screen na siya, pipicturean niya kung sino yung nag-access. Okay, and then it will be given to a particular data administrator. Okay, so those are examples of detective control. Ngayon, pag nakalampas pa rin dun sa detective control, then lastly, we have corrective control. So wherein the action of which is to reverse the effect of the error, no, being detected in the previous step. So, pag na-perpetuate na, okay, ano yung corrective action? O, pakulong mo na, hindi, joke lang. Hanapin mo kung sino yung perpetuator na yon, and then, do some necessaries. Aside from that, pag naayos na yon, then, kailangan yung naging problem mo na nakalampas from preventive up to detective, okay, ay kailangan mong ayusan, lagyan din ng another control. Okay? So, any questions about it? Medyo napakasimple ng example ko, but in terms of business, malaking bagay na yun yung laptop, no? Especially dun sa mga employees na nag-uwi at saka yung buhay nila nasa laptop nila. Information. Again, one of the biggest resource of the business right now is information. At hindi yan maiwasan na nasa laptop yan. Wala yan sa utak natin. Nasa laptop natin yan, nasa computer natin yan, especially for those businesses who are using laptop as their main mode of work. Okay? So, any questions so far, mga kapatid? So, wala naman. Okay? Okay. So, next, let's talk about the Statement of Auditing Standard number 78 as well as the COSO Internal Control Framework. So the Sarbanes-Oxley Act legislation requires management of public companies to implement an adequate system of internal control over financial reporting. So regarding the control framework to be used, both the Securities and Exchange Commission and the PCAOB, no, have endorsed the framework put forward by the Committee of Sponsoring Organizations of the Treadway Commissions or the COSO. So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng COSO, Committee of Sponsoring Organization of the Treadway Commissions, okay, which further requires that any framework used should encompass all of this COSO's general themes. So the COSO framework was the basis of the Statement of Auditing Standards number 78, but was designed as management tool rather than audit tool. So itong Statement of Auditing Standard number 78, on the other hand, was developed for auditors and described the complex relationship between the firm's internal control, the auditor's assessment of risks, and the planning of audit procedures. So, this statement of auditing standard 78 or the COSO framework consists of 5 components. Okay? So, anyways, mamaya natin pag-usapan yung 5 components. So, itong framework na to, okay, it describes the relationship between the firm's internal control structures, okay, nabanggit ko kanina, the auditor's assessment, as well as the planning, the audit procedure. So, bakit itong tatlong to are interrelated? Because the weaker the internal control structure, the higher the level of risks to be assessed by the auditor, and the higher the risks, the more auditor's procedure should be applied in the audit. Okay? So, kaya importante yung about the COSO framework na yan. So, ngayon, discuss natin, okay, ano ba yung 5 parts nitong COSO framework na to. Okay? So, we have the control environment, then we have the risk assessment. Actually, ang kasunod ng risk assessment is control activities. Okay? And then information communication, then monitoring. So, kaya lang na-rearrange to kasi mas madami tayong discussion later on ng control activities. Okay? Pero, these are the 5 internal control components of the COSO framework. And let's discuss them one by one. Okay, so let's start with the control environment. So the control environment is the foundation for the other 4 control components. So itong control environment na to sets the tone for the organization and influences the control awareness of its management and employees. So the important elements of this control environment are the integrity and ethics of the management, the organizational culture, okay, or even the structure of the particular company, the role of the board of directors and the audit committee, okay, so the management policies and philosophy, delegation of responsibility and authority, performance and evaluation measure, okay, we have the external influences, the regulatory agencies, no, and also the policies and practices managing human resources. Okay, by the way, even though this is a COSO framework, no, here in the Philippines, we are also using it, no? Businesses are also using this framework, and even the auditing firms are using such. Okay? So, COSO framework requires the auditors to obtain sufficient knowledge to assess the attitude and awareness of the organization's management, the board of directors, as well as the owners. So, first thing that you need to do is to understand the control environment. Ano na ba yung meron dito sa business na to? Ano nangyayari? You need to understand, pakiramdaman mo para makagalaw ka in terms of assessing the other parts of this framework. Okay? So, that's the control environment. Okay. Any question? Wala. Next would be risk assessment. So, organizations must perform a risk assessment to identify, analyze, and manage the risks relevant to financial reporting. Okay? So, which includes the changes in external environment, no? Is there a risk of foreign markets ba? Significant and rapid growth that strains internal control, new product lines, restructuring, at saka changes in accounting policies. So, the COSO framework requires that auditors should obtain knowledge in the organization's risk assessment procedures to understand how the management identifies, prioritizes, and manages the risks related to financial reporting. So, ano pinagkaiba niya doon sa kaninang control environment? Doon sa control environment, it talks about obtaining sufficient knowledge to assess. Nag-obtain ka pa ng sufficient knowledge doon. Samantalang sa risk assessment, okay, on the control environment, you are obtaining the knowledge to assess the attitude and awareness of the organization's management over the internal control. So, yung attitude at saka awareness ng management of board of directors as to internal control. Ngayon naman, sa risk assessment, it talks about yung sufficient knowledge ng auditor on the organization's risk assessment procedure naman. Okay? To understand how management identifies and prioritize and manage the risks that they do have in terms of financial reporting. Okay? Next would be information and communication. So, the accounting information system consists the records as well as the methods used to initiate, identify, analyze, classify, and record the organization's transactions and to account for related assets and liabilities. So, the accounting information system should produce high quality information which is identify and records all valid transactions, valid, di ba? Okay? Produce and provides timely information in appropriate detail. It should be accurate, no? Accurately measure the financial value as well as accurately records transaction in the time period in which they have occurred. Okay? So in this particular information and communication, the COSO requires the auditor to obtain sufficient knowledge naman of the organization's information system to understand the classes of transactions, yung financial reporting, and how the financial statements are being prepared. Okay? So, in this case, no, the auditor must obtain sufficient knowledge about the information system, okay, the classes of transactions, ano bang meron, the transaction and processing, as well as the financial reporting. Okay? So next would be about monitoring. So pag sinabi natin monitoring, it is the process by which the quality of internal control design and operations can be assessed. This may be accomplished by separate procedures or by having an ongoing activity. So, we are assessing now the quality of internal control. Okay, so separate procedure, test of control by internal auditor, no? There would be an ongoing monitoring. Okay, and then lastly, for our COSO framework, we have control activities. So when we talk about control activities, it talks about the policies and procedures which is to ensure that the appropriate actions are taken in response to the identified risks. So these control activities may fall into two distinct categories. We have the IT controls, which relates to specifically the computerized environment, and we have also the physical control, which pertains to human activities. So now, let's talk about the IT controls, no? There are two types of IT controls. We have the general control, which is pertaining to the entity-wide computer environment. Okay, let's say for example, controls over data center, about the database, the system development, at saka dun sa maintenance. Samantalang, when we talk about application controls, it ensures the integrity over specific system. Okay, entity-wide general, specific system, application control. Okay, so those are the IT controls. On the other hand, we have physical control na nabanggit naman kanina. Physical control is all about the controls over human activities. So we have 6 types. We have transaction authorization, segregation of duties, the supervision, accounting records, access control, as well as independent verification. So let's talk to them one by one. And actually, itong mga 6 steps na itong physical control, we will see them all pag diniscuss natin yung various cycles, no, sa mga susunod na chapter. Okay, so let's start with transaction authorization. So, in the transaction authorization, it is used to ensure that all employees are carrying out only authorized transactions. Dapat well-approved lang, okay, at dumaan sa tamang process. And generally, no, everyday procedures, general authorizations, as well as there are some sort of specific authorizations na nangyayari. Okay? Then, Another on the physical control would be yung segregation of duties. Okay, so in a manual system, dapat, no, as you all know, on the segregation of duties, the work of one should not be done by the other, because if that's the case na ginawa ng isa, then there could be a possible conflict of interest, and ayaw natin ng conflict of interest because it would commit a fraud na na-discuss natin kanina. So the authorization and processing a transaction should be separated. Custody at saka yung record keeping of the assets or should be separate, at saka yung mga sub-dust. Diba? Okay, so those are just basic physical control about segregation of duties. Basta take note, may mga work na it should be segregated. Okay? Isipin nyo na lang kung walang manager who will oversee. Hayaan mo na yung cashier na lang doon sa bangko. Diba? Cashier na lang lahat. So there is no control over it that would recheck. Ba? Iba pa nga sa bangko, di ba? Let's say, for example, in terms of vault, di ba? Iba yung may alam nung number sa vault, saka yung may susi. Okay? So, those are just basic segregation of duties na alam natin. Okay? Another, sa computerized environment naman, ang segregation of duties, dapat iba yung program coding sa nagpa-process as well as the program maintenance. Next would be supervision. So, a compensation of lack of segregation, some may be built into computer systems. Okay? So, pag pinag-usapan natin yung supervisions na yan, okay, so implementing adequate segregation of duties, as mentioned a while ago, requires the firms to employ a sufficiently large number of employees, diba? Kasi the more tasks na makikreate kapag segregated yung duties. So in achieving adequate segregation of duties, often it should present difficulties in small organizations. So kailangan natin na magkaroon tayo ng close supervision. So supervision is also called as compensating control, and under this, dapat the firm should employ competent and trustworthy personnel. So kailangan may mag-oversee sa mga employees na to so that they could not do whatever incorrect doings that they're going to do. Okay, kaya nandiyan yung managers na na-mention ko rin kanina. Okay, as well as some other people who will supervise. Now, ito naman, so some may be built in the computer system. So, may mga supervisions naman na nandoon sa computer system na. Now, another would be, thank you na. Next would be, let's talk about, okay, ayan. Accounting records. So, accounting records of the organizations consist of the source documents, yung journals, at saka yung ledger natin. So, dapat, the records should capture all of the economic resources and it should provide audit trail. Diba? Na-mention na natin audit trail last time so that it could be able to be rechecked by an independent party. Okay? So, yung kailangan natin kapag meron tayo accounting records, there should be an audit trail. Okay? So, another on the physical control is yung access control na tinatawag. So, the purpose of this access control is to ensure that only authorized personnel have the access to the asset of the firm. So, technically, okay, so, meron tayo mga custodian. Sample, si petty cash, diba? We have the petty cash custodian who is restricting the petty cash of the company. Or even kapag nasa warehouse tayo, dapat may warehouse custodian, siya yung in charge doon sa pag-monitor ng mga assets. Okay? So those are example of access control. Okay, and next would be we should have an independent verification. So these independent verification procedures are independent checks of accounting system to identify error at saka misrepresentation. Okay, so you could review the batch totals or reconciling subsidiary accounts with the control account. So those are some sort of independent verification. So dyan yung physical control. Now, let's have an example over this um, six activities na to in the context of IT. So, we have transaction authorization. So, dapat yung rule embedded in the computer. So, example would be automated reordering of inventory without human intervention. So, sa transaction authorization, we could automate nga, ayun nga, approval na lang through email or even approval na lang by clicking some sort of buttons in the computer by some hire people para mag-proceed. Hindi na kailangan na padaanin pa on some other level kasi halimbawa perma. Okay? Yung perma na yon, sample na lang sa manager sa Jollibee, 'di ba pag nagkaroon ng void, anong ginagawa? Ini-input na lang, kinakaskas yung card, ini-input yung codes, 'di ba? Para mabilis yung transaction rather than signing it. Okay? Another would be segregation of duties. So, a computer program may perform many tasks that are deemed incompatible. Okay? So, the crucial need to separate a program development, program operations sa program maintenance. Nabanggit ko na to kanina. Okay? So, we should segregate them so that hindi rin magkaroon ng collusion over the information system natin. Okay? Kasi kapag nag-usap-usap yan, pwede nilang i-modify na kung saan they could perpetuate doon sa mga information. Okay? Next, supervision. So there should also be an ability to assess the competent employees becomes more challenging due to greater technical knowledge required. So kailangan tignan ninyo, there should be an enough supervision to these employees with regards to this computer system so that they could not be able to even manipulate it. No? Accounting records. So the ledger accounts are sometimes source documents which are kept magnetically. So no audit trail is readily apparent. So again, 'di ba, important sa accounting records yung audit trail. Okay? So kapag nakip siya magnetically, there are some cases na ayun nga magkakaproblema and they could not be able to trace it. But there are already some controls nga over this, no? IT controls na na-discuss naman na previously in terms of the accounting records. And next, we have the access control. So somehow example would be data consolidation exposes the organization to computer fraud and excessive losses from disaster. Okay. So ito yung isang problema, no? So yung sa data consolidation, kapag nagta-transfer ng one data to another platform, okay, so pwedeng magkaroon tayo ng problem doon kasi there would be one people or there would be one group of people that would handle that in terms of consolidation. And magiging problem natin dyan is that what if nagkaroon sila ng connivance, kaya importante pa rin yung segregation of duties kanina. Also, the access control natin. And lastly, independent verification. So when tasks are performed by computer rather than manually, the need for an independent check is not necessary. Pero ang connotation lang nito that even though their independent check is not necessarily the system, kaya chine-check din pati system, there is one subject nyo nga in the future which is auditing in computerized environments so that you could be able to verify kung tama ba rin yung pinoproduce ng system. Baka naman, yung na-code sa system is mali-mali, then we need also to check. We need to have an independent check. Okay? However, the program themselves are checked. Yan yung sinabi ko kanina. Okay? So, ayan. I hope na hindi kayo naguluhan. So, dun sa last part lang, again, I have discussed about the physical control. Tapos, pinut up lang natin siya sa context ng IT controls. Although sa succeeding chapters, we will be talking about these 6 categories na to over our revenue cycle, expenditure cycle, at sa conversion cycle. Okay? So I hope na naintindihan ninyo yung about ethics and fraud, na I hope din na madagdagan pa yung knowledge nyo, na nabigyan ko kayo ng overview dito, pero I hope na magkaroon kayo ng in-depth understanding over COSO at saka yung other subject matter dito sa chapter na to, sa lalong-lalo na sa other yung subject na governance at saka risks, no? Management, yung isang subject. Okay, even in auditing theory, you will also discuss more on this statement of auditing standards pa. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope na may naiambag ako ngayong araw. Okay, and see you on our chapter 4. And our chapter 4's discussion will talk about the revenue cycle na. So sisimulan na natin yung accounting information system over the cycles na na-introduce sa inyo in the previous chapter. Okay? So have a good day everyone.